Hi, Deb here. Welcome to my craft room. I've just received, literally half an hour ago, received the Pixie box, the new Pixie box from Sophie and Toffee. It's the March one. So let's get in and open it. I've tipped it back like that. Right, so let's go. Nice orange wrapping paper this time. Very nice. Under the Sea. Don't look, don't look. So we have crushed shells in here, pretty colours, crushed shells, blue, half gems, flat back gems, different sizes. I think it's just 2 different sizes. And we have a really nice octopus and seal. Oh, it's an octopus and a seal insert. Very pretty. Oh, we have some open back bezels. In there are 2 fish. I don't know if you can see those fish. Let's have a look. Let's take them out. A fish in there. They're really sweet. And in here we have whale or dolphin tails, and there are some more there, and those are whales. So those are nice bezels, like those. Oh, in here we have 2 little shell charms, a rose gold and a gold, and they have little pearls in. They are really pretty. And then we have 2 other shell charms here. Don't think they open. No. Oh, maybe they do. Yes, they do. They open. Well, it looks like they do. There's a hinge. It's definitely a hinge, isn't it? Yeah, they do open. Oh, aren't they gorgeous? They're little lockets. So there's a gold and a rose gold locket. They are beautiful. Very nice. And then in here we have some shells, some tiny little shells, which are absolutely gorgeous. They really are gorgeous. Love those little shells. And we have some cane slices in here that are of shells. These ones along the top are long swirly shells, and these ones down here are starfish. Very nice. This in here is a mixture of inclusions, and there's some pearls, half pearls, some gold shapes, some green crushed shells. That's very pretty. That's very pretty. And these are mica powders. There's a red and a blue. Very nice mica powders. I like those. They're nice colours. And now we get the moulds. This is, I think this must be the undersea mould, the underwater mould. And that's a shell mould. I'm not sure what that is. It's another, it looks like it might be coral or something. Oh, this is nice. This looks like earrings, underwater earrings. This looks like mermaid scales, and I mean, they're not really underwater earrings, are they? They're just earring moulds. And there's, what are these? Shells. Sorry, I think I'm going a bit gaga sometimes. Oh, and these are beautiful sea creatures. So there's a seahorse, ray, jellyfish, octopus, turtle, dolphin, fish, starfish. That is gorgeous. Oh, and this must be a mould support for the underwater mould. Let's have a look. Oh yes, that one there, this one here. Yes, you fill that with, it's coral. You put it inside there. That's good, yeah. You put that inside the sea mould. That's good, I like that. Yeah, I've got all of those things. That is a very nice box. I really like that. Really not sure what I'm going to do with it. I need to get on and find out, don't I? I'll think about it and I will be back to you once I've sorted it all out. See you soon. Hi, right, I'm back. I've mixed up 30 mils of resin in that little pot there, and I'm going to include this quite sparkly, a little bit of this quite sparkly green, it's like a dark green mica powder. It's quite sparkly, it's very nice, because I want to do this, it sort of goes at the back of the mould to look like seaweed and things like that. So I'm going to make it green, and then I'm going to pour a tiny bit in, and I'm going to put some of these in with it so that it looks sort of a bit different, a bit variegated. Don't want this resin to be too opaque because I want you to be able to see the glittery bits through it. So I'm hoping it's not going to be too opaque. I need to get all of this mixed in nicely because I don't want any spots of mica powder to be showing. Sorry, I'd forgotten to put my microphone on, so if you didn't hear that last bit, I'm really sorry. It's on now, so hopefully you'll hear me better now. I'm just stirring in this very dark green resin, which's got glittery bits in, so I'm hoping it'll look nice. I'm going to put a small bit in, just a little, in the bottom here, like that. Let's scrape this stirrer off. And then I want to put some of these shell bits in. These came with this box. Yeah, these just all came with this box. That's the green. See if I can pick some of these up and put them in because I don't want to waste them. This is the blue. Don't know if that's going to sink down or not, to be honest. Let's put a bit of the blue on that end like that. And this came in an old box. I don't know where it came from. It would have been a Sophie and Toffee box, but I don't know when from. And this is really pretty, different colours and all greens and sort of dark greens and things. So I'll put those in as well. And hopefully it'll look really nice. Right, so that's those done. Now I need to add some more resin. I just hope those things sink because I think this is too opaque, which I didn't want, but I think it might be too opaque to see through, to see the stones, the shell bits that I've just put in. I'm going to get a my little pink incidental brush, and I'm going to poke down and hope that those bits all go to the bottom, so they're then sitting on the top of the so they're then sitting on the top of the rocks that I'm going to put in the ocean when I do it. Just tapping it all down in the hope that they will all show, and also to make sure there's no bubbles, because you don't want bubbles. Well, I mean, I know you get bubbles in the ocean, but you don't want bubbles. You don't want broken bits on your rock, do you? So you need to make sure that you get all your bubbles up. Let's create that. Let's give it a little tap. That's it. Put some more in there. And it's level right up to the edge. Right, like that. Now I wonder if there's another mould that I got that I can use the rest of that in. Oh, whoops, sorry, I've just knocked my light over. I've just knocked my light flying. I suppose I can use one of these, can't I? One of these animals. There, that's my light back anyway. No, I'm not going to use an animal. I'm going to use my shell mould. Sorry if that was really noisy. Yeah, I'm going to use my shell mould. Like this. Right, let's put that up there out of the way. I'm now going to turn on my Let's Resin heat pad to so it cures quicker, and I'm going to get my long neck lighter to pop any bubbles that may come to the surface. Once again, I'm using the JDiction Fast Cure Resin. It says it takes 8 hours to cure, 8 to 10 hours to cure. So on my heat mat, it should be cure within, I don't know, 3 or 4. 3, I think. I'll leave it, and I will be back later to see how cured it is. See you then. Right, it's the next day. Let's demold this and see what we think. Oh, that is perfect. Just a bit of overflow there. That's fine. I'll clean that up. That is perfect. That is just how I wanted it to look. I'm really pleased with that. Yeah, as you can see, I have put some tape on the back of the mould because I want to put it like that. This is the bottom of the sea, if you know what I mean. This is going to be the bottom of the sea. So I want to stand it like that. So it's on its side. So the bottom of the sea is at the bottom of the box. And put sand, which I've mixed. This is 2 different colours of sand. One of them, the lighter one, came from Hobbycraft, very light sand, and the darker one I believe I ordered on Amazon. I don't remember, but I think I ordered it on Amazon. And I also want to put some of the shell bits in it. I don't need that. Some of the shell bits in it, and also some of the little star sand that I got from Sophie and Toffee from the beach pour, you know, the waves and everything. That was a long time ago I got that, and I haven't used it. So I want to put all of these bits in the bottom. Not a great deal of them, but a bit here and there, just to make it look good. And also a few of the shells that came with the set I want to just put on the bottom. So that's why I've taped off the bottom. I'm just going to warm up my glue. My glue? Where did the glue come from? I'm just going to warm up my resin and trim this up a little bit where I have overflow, and I will be back to do the next part of my mould. See you soon. Okay, I have mixed up 20 grams of JDiction's quick set resin, and I'm going to pour in some sand, all of the sand that was in that bowl, and give it a stir. I know that sand does hold bubbles, but that's fine. It won't really show, and it's the bottom of the water. It doesn't need to be crystal clear at the bottom of the sea. So let's scrape that off for now. And let's see if we can pour this. I don't suppose you can see me. I want to pour it in so it sits on the bottom of just pouring it so it's in the bottom of the mould and hoping that it will stay like that. I'm going to have to scrape this lot out and put it in there because I can't angle it enough. I think 20 mils with that amount of sand was just right, to be honest. Making a mess as usual, people. I am a messy tyke, I openly admit to that. Right, so I know you can't see me, but I'm levelling it out a bit. Although, once again, you know, it doesn't need to be level. Scrape out what's left. Yeah, 20 mils was the perfect amount in there. Just about enough. Right, so that 20 mils has gone in there. Now I'm going to set my whatever you want to call it. No, I'm not going to put that in yet. What I want to do first, where's my tweezers? What I want to do first is set the shells and things in somewhere. Do I do the shells first, or do I do the sands and the glitters first? Because the bit that's facing me, this bit, is the back. So I want to put the pretty things at the front before I put the back thing in. So what I'm going to do, but I don't want them to sink into that wet sand, do I? Let's do the star sand first. Get some on my spoon and just sprinkle a little bit in the edge, on the front edges like that. You don't want too much. I just took 2 of my glitter spoons and I literally chucked it in because it's really hard to ackle where you're putting it. I'm just hoping it won't sink because the wet resin is thick with sand, so I'm hoping that these bits won't sink. I'm also just chucking these in here, there or anywhere. 2 little bits on the end of my spoon. And the green I'm going to put in the middle and up to this side. I know you're not seeing this and I am really sorry about that, but can't really help it. Now let's place some shells. Obviously you can place the shells anywhere you like, remembering that this is the front, so what you're seeing is the back when you put these in. That's 3 there. Oh dear, I'm going to do, I'm not sure which way up. I might put that way up actually. And I'm also going to put the octopus that came with it at the bottom because he's sitting, he's not floating, he's sitting. So let's put him in there like that. And now I'm going to put the coral rock, whatever it is, in. And that will sink a bit. Now I want to put, last but not least, I want to put in these really pretty stones. Like the crushed glass stones. I'm hoping that I've not overdone it on the bottom of this sea, but you don't want a boring seabed, do you? So I can't do any more until that sets, and I'm really sorry you can't see it. Right, here we are, we're back, and this is what I've done on the seabed. So I've now got to wait for that to cure. Hopefully nothing sinks too much. Wait for that to cure, and then I'll be back when that's cured to put the next layer in. See you then. Hello, right, it is the next day. The first thing I want to do is to take this tape off the back because that is all set now. And hang on, what am I doing? That didn't work very well, did it? Some of that tape came off. And now I think what happened is, I don't know what happened, but I now need to get this tape off here. I didn't think that would happen. Never mind, let's just sort it out. Let's not worry about it. Let's sort it out. I don't know how it has happened. Possibly get a little pair of, oh no, I've got some I've got a little knife, haven't I? I'll use my craft knife to cut this off here. Right, so what I want to do now is tip it up like that. Sorry about the banging. Put my knife back. Tip it up, and I want to get a soft brush in there to brush all the bits out that might float up, because I don't want sand all through the whole thing. So anything that's likely to float, I want out. So that's all of that brushed off. Now, looks like there is a little bit of resin or something on the back of there. So I'm going to have to wipe this as well, because that's going to be the front and I don't want it to be dirty. And that's that. Now I want to dry that with a bit of kitchen roll. Yeah, dry it with kitchen roll. Right. Now let's shake this off. Put that down there like it's supposed to be. Right, I'm now going to mix up 150 grams, I think that'll be enough, of this resin. I can't even, I'm not going to attempt to say it. I got it from Amazon. I've used it a couple of times. It seems to be okay. It's quite cheap. It seems to be okay. You have to mix it 100 to 45 grams. So 100 grams of the epoxy and 45 grams of the hardener. Sorry, but Harry's just come in to say hello. That's who you can hear meowing at me. So I'm going to mix this up and then I'll be back. Sorry, I forgot to turn you back on. So I've mixed 145 grams of that resin that I can't begin to say the name of, and I added a little, literally, I stirred this blue pigment from Sophie and Toffee. It's called Ocean Blue Seascape pigment. I stirred it with my little pink stick and I literally put it in, gave it one quick swish and took it out again, because I don't want this to be opaque, and it already looks as if it might be. I'm hoping it won't. And I've literally stirred it in, and now I'm going to pour it into my mould. I know it's not going to be enough resin to fill the whole thing, but I don't want to risk upsetting the resin, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to pour this in, and that doesn't look good, does it? That might have been a mistake using that pigment. That may have been a mistake because I can't see through that. But then, I don't know. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh well, if it was a mistake, you get to see it anyway, don't you? Yeah, you will be seeing this even if I've done it very, very wrong. Anyway, let's leave that in there like that for now. Put that there. And I got these beautiful little glass beads. Tiny, tiny. They look like little bubbles. I got those from the Sophie and Toffee bath time box and didn't quite know what to do with them. And I've got, I don't know, about a dozen or so in the bottom of this little pot, and I wanted to just sprinkle them here and there over that so that it looks like there's bubbles coming up under the sea. Now, I'm not sure you're going to see them because I've already lost them, but I'm hoping that they will come up at the front. because anything at the back I don't think we're going to be able to see. Anyway, never mind. So let's just pop the bubbles that I can see here. And what I will do is I will keep coming back every half hour or so to pop bubbles. And in about 5 hours, I will come back and put some more resin in here. I'm just wondering if I should mix up some more clear and put it in now to water down that. No, I can't do that because otherwise it might damage my mould if it gets too hot. So I'm going to leave it as it is for now. I'm going to let that cure. I'm going to keep an eye on any bubbles, and I will be back in about 4 hours to put a second coat, maybe 5, to put a second coat on, and pray that that isn't too thick to see through. Thank you. Bye. Right, this is now my 3rd attempt. As you can see, I've laid the bottom. You can't see, but you sort of can. I've laid the bottom, and I've put in 200 mils of resin, and I put the tiniest drop of the blue ink in that time. This is the first one, which I put in the opaque, which looked absolutely awful. And this is the second one, which looked very nice, but the blue was okay, but slightly too dark. But it wasn't quite set when I laid it on the back there to put the blue in, and all of the sand, that's supposed to be the front, all of the sand came up and looked awful. So I will show you them properly when I finish this one. So I'm going to mix 200 mils of resin, another 200 mils of resin, and pour it in there. So I'll be back when I've mixed my resin. Right, so I've mixed my resin, 200 grams. I'm going to put in this sky blue. And I don't want to put in too much. So what I'm going to do is just dip in the end of this little pink thing, but I think I need a bit more than that, so let's put a tiny drop on there. Let's put a bit more in. That's slightly more than I put in the last lot, but not as much as I put in the other one, the darker one. So let's mix this in now. It doesn't really show too much, it just gives it a hint of colour. That's all, just a hint of colour. Sorry, I don't know if you can see me mixing that. Right, so let's pour this in now. Let's just pour it. I'm hoping that this will fill it, but I don't know. Might not. It might not. It will. It's filled it. Right, that has filled the mould. But it looks like it's overflowed there a little bit. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe not. Right, so I know you can see lots and lots of little bubbles in it, or I'm sure you can, because I certainly can. They, last time when I did it, they all rose to the surface and disappeared. So I'm hoping they will do the same this time. I'm now just going to leave this because I believe that that is definitely finished now. That's all the way to the top. Yeah, that's that. I will be back when that is cured. See you later. Bye. Right, I have now, it's cured. Now let's demould it. Like I said yesterday, this is the third attempt. I will show you the others when I get this out of here. You can see there's a little bit of cleanup I need to do around the edge, but that's just a little bit of sanding. That won't take long at all. And let's hope this is okay. Let's hope this is okay. Put the mould back in the right way round. Put it in there like that. Alright, are you ready? Oh yeah, I'm really pleased with that. That is really nice, and I love these bubbles on the front. I am, I believe, going to have to put a dome coat on there because, I don't know, it looks a bit scratchy. I don't think the mould was the best. Yes, I'm going to have to, I'll sand the edges. Just a little trim, a little, what's it on the edges? The back's rough. But I'm really pleased with that. I really like it. I think that's come out beautifully. Really pleased with that. Right, where's my clippers? Here's my clippers. Let's clip these off, these big bits off if I can. And then I can sand them. That's that done. There's another bit there. The trouble is that's not really very straight, is it? And here is my trusty emery board, just to sand those off a bit. I think I must have got this from Sophie and Toffee. It might have been last year, not last year, the year before's Christmas box or something. Emery boards are so handy for this sort of thing. They really are. Just takes the rough off. Let's just go down here because that's a bit rough down there. Right, I shall mix up. And that's there wasn't obviously not enough resin under there because that's very rough, but I'll do that later. Let's just get this finished first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a good wipe so there's no dust on it at all anywhere, and then I'm going to put a top coat on there. So I will mix up my resin, just a little bit of resin, to dome that front. Well, just to put a top coat on it because it's a bit uneven, scratched looking. So I'll be back when I've mixed up my resin. Right, so I've mixed up 20 grams of resin. I've got my table level. Just going to pour some on top there. I don't want too much because I don't really want it domed. I just want it not to look scratched. So I'm not going to put on too much. Just take it up to the edge all around. That's it, just very gently up to the edge all the way around. I did wipe it down with a baby wipe and then kitchen roll. It's resin's very good at finding its own level, but you have to make sure that it gets to all the edges because it doesn't always get all the way to the edges. Sorry, I've gone all quiet, haven't I? It's because I'm concentrating on what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure there's no holes or anything anywhere. There's a hole there and a hole there. So you don't want it to go over the sides, but you also don't want it to be uneven. No bubbles, no unevenness. Right, let's put, oh, there's that bit there isn't done. I always find the best way to see when you're doming or doing a top coat, the best way to see if you've done everything is to lay your head on the side. Let's take that stick out of there because I don't want that little pot to fall over. Yeah, that's what I do. I just lay my head on the side and you can see the light reflecting off it, so you can see you've done it all. Right, to get the bubbles out of this, I'm going to use my torch because I've got no mould to worry about, so I'm just going to use my torch and hope that levels it all out a bit. Just might need a little bit more there. That doesn't look as if it's gone over properly. Right, I think that is it. Right, so the dome coat on the top of this is dry. Not overly pleased with it, to be honest. It looks quite wrinkled, but it's okay because it's through water. I went onto the internet yesterday and I printed out this picture of some fish in a fish tank, and I thought I would like that on the back of here, and I printed it on sticky paper, but of course the sticky's on the back of this, and I thought, well, how am I going to put it on? So what I've decided to do, I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but I've decided to put UV resin on here and then put this on top of it and then cure it through the glass. I don't know how successful that's going to be, but let's try it. So I'm using, this is Miniature Sweet UV resin. It's going to go between the glass. I just wanted to use it up. In future I will only use JDiction's UV resin, but I just wanted to use this one up because I had a lot laying around. So I'm going to spread UV resin all over this picture, hoping it doesn't smudge it or make it bleed or whatever. So let's spread that over the picture. And then I'm going to stand the fish tank thing on top of it and hope that that sticks it and makes it, oh, there's something on there, bit of something on there, cat hair by the look of it, or it may be a hair off my jumper. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Let's wipe that. It's a shame, isn't it? I love my fluffy warm jumper, but of course it leaves fluff everywhere. All over my resin. I hope that's enough, and I hope that putting the block on top of it will flatten it all out. There's a lot of hoping going on here today, isn't there? Right, so that's completely covered. Now let's put the block down on it. Like that. Push it down. Turn it over and give it a good push. Hopefully. Now let's wipe this up that I've put there. Like that. Now let's, oh, it looks like it may have worked. Let's just ackle it so it's lined up nicely, because I don't want it to go over the bottom. I want it to be level on the bottom. So let's just slide it up a tiny bit like that. And like that. Now that looks good. Can you see it? That looks good. So what I'm going to do is put my UV light over it. Be back when it's finished. Right, now, who didn't tell me that the fish were upside down? I just took it out of the light and looked and thought those fish are upside down. So I've just had to reprint it, let it dry, and do the same process that you watched all over again. But the fish are up the right way now, and I'm going to cut off the excess picture that is round the outside of the tank. Don't know if you can see. You need to be very careful because you don't really want to cut the resin. And I'm doing it on my mat and not on my cutting board. How silly am I? Cutting board, Deb. Always on a cutting board. Right, I'm pleased with that. Let's put my knife away before I stab myself. What I'm going to do now is put UV resin on the back to seal the picture in. So exactly the same process. UV resin on the back to seal it. So it's like doming with UV resin, this will be. And that will then seal the picture so it doesn't peel off if it gets wet or anything. Yeah, let's do this then. A bit more careful with this one because we don't want it to go over the side. the same as you don't when you're doming, because otherwise it'll dribble down the sides of the tank and then it'll look awful. So yeah, let's just gently go along over the back like this. Making sure there's no gaps or spaces anywhere. Before you put the light over this, you really need to make sure there's no bubbles or anything in it, because you want it to cure nicely. That's it. Keep going. Keep going. Right, make sure there's no bubbles. That's it. Make it all nice. Whoops. No bubbles, all level. That's it. That's what we need to do. No bubbles, all level. That looks right. A little bit there that may need some attention. Right, I've got these boxes because I need my light to stand on something so that it doesn't touch the top of this. So here we go. I'm gonna cure that now. There's a bit of a dip. Oh, it's gone already. That has cured, started to cure already. Can you believe that? As soon as that UV light goes over it, it starts curing. I'll be back when it's finished. Right, that is now done. It's a little bit sticky, but I don't know, some resins are just sticky, aren't they? Let's wipe it off. I think someone said to me, if you wipe it, it gets rid of the sticky. So that's that. Let's give it a wipe. That's that. Right, that's that done. Now I want to do the bottom because, as you can see, that's a right mess. So let's use JDiction UV Resin for this. So I'm just going to pour it on. I'm only using JDiction because it just doesn't dry sticky. I love JDiction UV Resin. It just, to me, is the best, I personally think. That's it. Right, now let's spread this around. But that looks okay. Let's torch it again. Actually, I'm going to get my big torch out because I'm not going to rip anything, am I? I'm not going to burn anything with my big torch. So let's now have a look. Oh, I can see a bubble there, I think. Now that looks fine, so let's put these back again. Put that in the middle. I think that might be high enough, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's definitely high enough. I'll be back when that's cured. Right, so that is now dried. I'm really pleased with it. Only thing is, the front is a little bit messy, so I think I'm going to give it a sand. Just a little going over with the sanding block, which doesn't seem to be doing anything at all. Wipe it, and then I'm going to do a dome coat on that, because that's, no, I'm not at all pleased with that. Right, so that's that done. Wipe it over like that. Leave it to dry, or wipe it dry. Not sure whether to do a coat with UV resin or proper resin. I think I don't mean proper resin. What I mean is, because UV resin is proper resin, what I mean is epoxy resin, you know, sorry, excuse my terminology. It's just that I use UV resin very rarely, really. So that's why I call epoxy resin proper resin. Right, so I'm going to mix up some epoxy and just pour it over the front there, because something went very wrong with it, and it looked all bubbly and like little crinkles on it, little wrinkles all over it. So I'm going to mix up some UV resin and dome this. See you soon. Right, so I've mixed up 10 mils of JDiction's quick cure, fast cure epoxy resin. I know it's a bit bubbly at the moment, but those will go because I'm doing it on the surface. So I'm going to pour that on like I did with the UV resin and just smooth it all around. The bubbles will go when I put the torch on it. Not like they're going to get trapped, because they're so close to the surface anyway, where it's so thin. It's just sorry, I can't think and talk. Where it's just a dome coat is what I was trying to say. You can already see, even through those bubbles, where I sanded it has disappeared. All the misty bit where I sanded it has all disappeared, and it's looking crystal clear apart from the bubbles that are in it, which will go. It's really clever. Putting just more resin on can clear it. So if you've made something, you know, and it's got old and it's got a bit scratched, maybe you've made something for the kids, or it's just got a bit scratched over the years, you can literally put another coat of resin over the top and all the scratches will disappear. I mean, it is usually better to give it a bit of a sand first, because the resin's then got something to adhere to. just try and smooth this as much as possible. Like that. Sorry, I've got my head on the side again. I suffer with a bad neck, and keeping my head on the side is really not good for it. But it really is the only way to tell if you've got something level. So usually if I'm doing a dome coat like this, I have to take tablets afterwards. That, I think, will do. Let's just put a bit more out of here on. I think don't waste it, and it will all level out, and it won't hurt. It's not going to go over. There's not enough for it to go over. I think I'm going to give this to my second grandson for his bedroom because he loves fish. He's only 15 months old and he absolutely loves fish. It was almost the first, well, I think it was the first word he said. He really does love them, so he might like this on the shelf in his bedroom. If not, I'll put it in the toy box for when he comes round to my house and he can play with it here. Because I think he'll really appreciate it. Right. That is definitely it. It has all levelled out beautifully, as you can see. You can see the fish through it much better than before I even sanded it. Let's get out the big torch, but let's turn it down a little bit. Let's pop any bubbles that are in there. And let's leave it like that. That is beautiful. Right, I'm going to cover it up and I'm going to leave it. And I will be back when that's cured. But I'm not going to show you it. I'm not going to show you me moving it. What I'll do is take a photo of this one and take a photo of the rubbish ones, which went very, very wrong. And I'll put them at the end of the video. So thank you for joining me in my craft room, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.